Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Entitled Parents. Story 1. Entitled parent takes no responsibility for toddler breaking something in a store, then is upset they were made to pay for the item. How about you keep your child contained when going through a store with breakables? Here is the review the entitled parent left for the store after the incident. We have shopped here for years and loved this place, but today was my last visit. We stopped in for a few plants and fertilizer only to be walking to the checkout. On our way out of the store, my son, who is 3, walked around a corner and a poorly displayed decorative mushroom fell over. An employee came over to clean up and never once checked on my son to see if he was okay. Then proceeded to scold us and follow us to the checkout. Make sure we paid $20 for something that was a poor choice of a display for a crowded part of a store. They never once asked if he was okay or did he get cut. They just were concerned with the fact we must pay for their poor choices of displayed items. I have loved this place, spent thousands here, but am done and see that the service here keeps going downhill. Story 2. My mom thinks she's okay. I will keep the swearing at a minimum. Me a 13M and have an abusive mom who would neglect me and physically harm me, then lie to CPS about it. She would smash my stuff and tried to kill me. She would make me sit in a way that did not help with my then undiagnosed scoliosis. She would let men abuse me and her both sexually and physically. Yes, I was raped, and so was my sister, who my mom go addicted to weed and e-cigarettes at 14. She's 15 now. She would lock me in my room for hours if it was not clean, and she would grab my face since it will literally paralyze me with fear. I could not fight back against any of my sisters. No, they would get to punch, kick, bite, throw me into dryers and start them, and when I would yell at them I was in trouble. She put parental controls and a screen time on my phone, and she got mad when I wouldn't let her do it to my Switch that my dad bought me. There would be months where there was no food in the house, but my dad was paying her $700 a month for both me and my older sister. I live with my dad now, but he still has to pay child support and has to work 3 jobs to keep us afloat. Soon just 2. She killed my pets and blamed it on me. She hit me in the mouth and didn't taken me to a doctor in 4 years. She still blames all this on the men in her life to this day. Luckily CPS found out about the drugs and she is gonna get arrested, hopefully. Story 3. My mom lost her license, so I have to spend my days driving her around. She, 38F, lost her license several months ago due to a DUI. About a week ago, she was arrested after being found driving again. They threatened to put her in jail for 6 months if she's found again. So for the past week, she's made me, 18F, drive her everywhere. Which means 4 to 5 stops a day by her pill dealers' houses. All separate trips. According to my car, 100+ miles a day. I get home from one trip and she demands I take her again an hour or 2 later. I hate it, but I do it. I've made it clear I don't like it, but I try to keep my mouth shut and just get it over with. If I make a wrong turn accidentally, she goes off about how she doesn't understand how I could make such a mistake and questions my intelligence. She constantly fights with me about how miserable I am when driving and how I ruin everyone's day. About how driving her is the least I could do to contribute to the house, even though 95% of the errands I run are just her drug trips. I'm so sick of her shit. She has made her legal issues everyone's fault and responsibility but her own. You know I'm not supposed to be driving, so don't make me go to jail. I spend every day ready to drop everything to cater to her. And I still never do it right. I'm going off to college this fall and it can't come fast enough. TLDR, my addict, alcoholic mother makes me drive her to her dealers all day, and throws a fit if I'm not happy / if I make a wrong turn. Story 4. Lancelot and the Evil Washing Machine. Note, I am an English speaker, but I have a lot of issues with speaking and writing these days due to a few disabilities. I try my hardest, but not even autocorrect helps out. So please don't mind the spelling mistakes. I try my best to make it readable. Alright, so I am hoping to move next summer due to some legal paperwork. I will first give you some history over how this led to what it did. When I first moved in, there was a working washing machine and dryer. The dryer was replaced my white night after the belt wore out. My suspicion was that her son was throwing his work boots into the dryer, even though she claimed she had set up a dryer in his apartment for his boots. Note that no one cleans up the common areas of our building. So a lot of lint, empty bottles, odds and ends and used toothpicks end up strewn around the laundry room. White Knight threw a fit, Lancelot threw a fit, and they both threatened to lock the area off if it wasn't cared for. Me the only one stepping up to clean out the areas cause I can't afford to go to laundry mats. When I protested them locking the area, I was informed that due to it not being on the lease then it was a privilege to us. Lancelot has a thing that if it's not on the lease, then it's not his issue and he will do the cheapest way if it is. We come to present now. The washing machine has been kicking out mid-cycle and leaking all over the cement floor. I have also stopped keeping care of the common areas since White Knight moved out after taking 2 very severe allergy attacks. I am also the last remaining original tenant as all others have changed ownership. We have a single father who doesn't care about anyone unless it's his issue, who also uses the area 24/7 for his kids' clothes. Probably why the poor old machine is now kicking out on us. I get a hold of Lancelot and explain the issue. His Matthias guy comes out and looks over it. Dose to cycles and I point out the issues. Then turns around and tells Lancelot that it will live for 6 more months. We had the machine kick out again yesterday, so me and another tenant were trying to get a hold of Lancelot. He was ignoring our text and phone calls for the most part except to scold me for calling him dude. After so many tries we get him on the phone. While I am trying to sort this out, my neighbor grabs the phone and lets Lancelot have it. I both respect and fear her for this. After she hangs up and some more hassle text where Lancelot is butthurt over being ganged up on, he finally says he will send his Matthias guy over to get it looked at. Here is where I went off. Lancelot confirmed that he won't be replacing it unless his Matthias guy says so and isn't listening to us cause we are not the professionals. I call him and go off about his attitude, how he handles the apartment and just him being a horrible person who can't show any understanding to us tenants who are struggling. Lancelot is actually very well off. His wife was laughing at us in the background. It didn't go well and I doubt he will do anything for the building now. Another note, a tenant moved out after being here less than a year. Replaced her locks and locked them out of the unit. When the Matthias guy went in to fix the place, he blew a fuss or wire that cut power to one section of that unit and my neighbors. Took a day of me and him fucking around to restore power to the units. Story 5. Dad is ordering my sister to take a knee during a game and to lose on purpose. Bad language ahead. My dad is very into getting all 3 of his kids into being very active in anything. Regardless of education or athletics. To a point where he's forced us to quit certain things when it doesn't align with his ideals. At the time I didn't know what my dad was doing, I wasn't in high school yet. I absolutely hated piano, violin, and everything else Asian related. I had to learn an instrument, so I took up saxophone. Dad hated that because of how expensive it was to maintain the instrument. I didn't know, I was in middle school. I thought my dad didn't want me to be so musically talented. So, I picked up rock drumming instead to satisfy the parental rules. I did that all through high school, until my dad said the music school was too expensive. I had to find another teacher that was going to charge less or I taught myself. I pretty much did that when I first started until my dad finally decided to get me drum kit to have actual feedback from my drumming. Meanwhile, my sisters were still taking piano lessons from the same teacher. That was still charging nearly as high as the music school the piano teacher was employed by. I slowly stopped drumming before starting college until I realized the reason is the noise, understandably, I made while banging. Nothing could go on while I was having fun. Another thing, my parents are complaining about how out of shape I look. Meanwhile I am doing things they couldn't do when they were my age. Such as having a mile time fast enough that I could have joined my local SWAT team if I made it through the academy. I can also lift and carry more weight than my parents could at my age. I don't look strong or fit, but I can do enough. All they can do is complain that my shape looks like Roger Smith from American Dad. I have to get in a laugh somehow, enough about me. My sisters play tennis, and they are so good at it that they are playing it competitively at the regional level. My dad is their manager or Overwatch. My dad played tennis in high school, which is how he finally got the guts to meet my mom. I have no idea how good my dad was at tennis, but he's a pain in the ass when it comes to strategy. It's gotten to a point where I had to tell my dad to back off on the micromanaging. It's gotten to a point where it's brought my sisters to tears trying to defend their strategies. In order for my sisters to meet my dad's qualifications, their work schedules aren't 9 to 5. It's more like 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. They get their jobs done first. I think they are doing this so they can have some sort of athletic routine after work. I can't because my job is already a workout for 8 hours, sometimes more, a day, and the scheduling at the job are crap. Several times my dad has argued that his strategies are better, to the point where my sisters ask, "Do you want me to take a knee during the game?" They aren't really strategies, it's more like how to stay in a certain ranking system where you can be the top in your category. Yes, you heard me right. My dad wants my sisters to take a fucking knee and to lose on purpose, so you have something to watch. It's reaffirmed for me to a point where my dad is using other words to tell my sister to lose on purpose. Now I'm not very smart, my job pays very little and everyone hates the agency, but I caught on pretty quickly that every discussion always ends up that he wants my sisters to take a fucking knee every game as to not be so good at the game. In every discussion about strategy, my sister storms off during dinner time, which is apparently the best and only time to discuss how to take a fucking knee and lose on purpose, and I have to tell my dad to lay the fuck off insulting my sister's skills. Me being the older brother to my sisters, and the one who chose a career of assisting people, I feel the need to tell my parents to fuck off if they are harming my sisters. They are my siblings and I feel the need to protect them from ending up like me. Edit, I don't know much about tennis. But I do know just enough to know my dad is treating my sisters like crap. If you guys are wondering, my dad only picked on me when I was younger and smaller. Now I am double his size and do things his own mother, my grandma, would have a heart attack over me doing or even thinking of doing. My parents have a duty to do, I understand that. But it scared them when I got so fit I could have been a federal police officer. You do not pick on my sisters the same way you did with me and expect the entire family to let it slide. I am their brother and I have a responsibility too. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.